When the human race first joined the Galactic Council, no one thought much of them. They could handle both heat and cold, had a decent strength-to-weight ratio, and unusually were one of the few non-apex predators to reach intelligence, let alone space travel. Still, they were considered dishonorable. The death of a single leader could trigger years of civil war. They weren't the worst species in the galaxy, but they were far from the best. The Traxi were the first to see an opportunity in this weakness. They waited patiently for the inevitable spark that would send humanity into chaos. 27 years after humans joined the Council, that spark ignited an all-out war within human civilization. The images from the first week still haunt me. No mercy, no honor, only cold, calculated slaughter. When the human conflict was nearly over, the Traxi struck. Millions of their soldiers and countless warships poured into human space. One by one, human planets fell, and millions died. The rest of the galaxy looked away. Some even helped the Traxi, trading supplies and weapons for pieces of conquered human territory. Humanity seemed finished. But instead of collapsing into extinction, something unexpected happened. They united. Centuries of hatred vanished in weeks. Former enemies embraced as brothers. The unstoppable Traxi advance slowed, then stopped. After taking 73% of human territory in just 6 weeks, they couldn't push any further. 8 months into the war, the Traxi made a fatal mistake. They had given humanity a common enemy. 2 years later, the impossible happened. The Traxi were being pushed back. Some claimed it was just a trap to bleed humanity dry. But once humans reclaimed a world, they never lost it again. They dug in, fortified, and waited for the enemy to attack. Again and again, the Traxi threw themselves at human defenses. Then, without warning, the humans would launch massive counterattacks, forcing the Traxi to retreat in chaos. 6 years have passed since the war began, the largest in 5 centuries of galactic history. The Council believed humanity would stop once they had retaken all their territory. They were wrong. Humans weren't just defending themselves, they were hunting their enemy. They wanted revenge for every drop of blood spilled, and nothing would stop them. In an unbelievable twist, the Traxi were now fighting for their own survival. The Council panicked, called for emergency peace talks. To everyone's shock, the humans agreed. For the first time since the war began, a ceasefire was declared. Representatives from humanity and 9 Council races met to negotiate. And once again, the humans surprised everyone by how they carried themselves in those talks. The humans spoke with calm reason to the Council races, but they refused to address the Traxi directly. Looking back, it should have been a warning, but at the time it seemed understandable. I was part of the diplomatic mission and still believed the war could end soon. That hope vanished when the Traxi brought up reimbursement. As the conquered party, they demanded equal compensation for any territory still under human control. When the treaty was signed, the human delegation fell silent as the Traxi ambassador made his request. Finally, one human asked, "Please tell me this is a joke." The representative from Chennai replied, "Of course not. It is their right to ask, and your duty to comply. To refuse would be incomprehensible." Again, the humans said nothing. Then their leader stood and calmly stated, "You will have our answer within the hour." Without another word, the entire human group walked out. The Council was relieved, believing the humans would accept peace. At exactly the hour mark, a message came from the human leader. For several long seconds, he simply stared into the camera, unmoving, unreadable. "Computer," said the Chennai representative. "Identify emotion." The machine responded. Emotion detected barely contained rage. The human leader smiled faintly. "My dear Council members," he began, turning his gaze to the Traxi delegate, "I regret to inform you that we cannot accept the current peace terms. However, we are willing to compromise." Suddenly, a Traxi soldier rushed into the chamber. "Sir, the human fleet is on the move." The screen split in two on one side, the human leader on the other. The Traxi homeworld surrounded by the entire human armada. "What dash, how dash, when?" stammered the Traxi delegate. The human only kept smiling. Then, without warning, the armada opened fire. In moments, thousands of years of Traxi history and culture were wiped away. Billions died before they even understood what was happening. One of the greatest empires in the galaxy simply ceased to exist. The human leader spoke again. "As you can see, we have decided to compromise. 16 billion of my people have died in this war. I think trading 10 billion Traxi lives for 16 billion innocent humans is more than fair." His tone dripped with venom. He continued, "As a race, we are now open to any negotiations for peace." "You're insane," roared the Chennai representative. "You have just declared war on the entire Galactic Council. There will be no peace until your vile race is erased from memory." "Good," the human said, the smile never leaving his face. But his eyes burned with rage. "I was hoping you'd say that." 14 days have passed since the Traxi-human war ended. There was no treaty, no surrender, only one side without a people. In that short time, the Galactic Council has declared war on humanity. 4 of its member races have defected, ashamed of the Council's inaction and failure to stop what happened. At the loss of human life at the start of the Traxi-human war was staggering. All 4 races that later defected from the Council had once voted to stop the Traxi. when they first showed interest in humanity. But they were bullied into silence by the Shi'ar. It's hard to believe 4 member races have abandoned the council, but then again, this is the first time in 570 years the council has gone to war, and never before has it been at war with itself. In just 34 years, humans have managed to tear apart millennia of tradition, cooperation, and unity. "Oi, mate," said my new friend beside me, grinning as he snapped me out of my thoughts. He was casually picking his nails with a small, metallic close combat blade. "Not having second thoughts on me, are you?" I grinned back. "Not on your life, my friend. This is the first time in nearly 6 centuries that the Anorak have gone to war." I looked at him and my grin widened. No, my friend. On the contrary, it's been far too long. This will be fun." His grin broke into a full, booming laugh. "Just stay alive long enough and I'll teach you how to cook the perfect steak." I shook my head at him. Humans truly insane.